Hey everyone, Matt Pisarcik with RazorEmporium.com, coming at you today for kind of an esoteric thought experiment, kind of just a why video. You know, so often in companies we get so busy with all the day-to-day, all the whats and the hows and the whos, we forget the whys. I always have to surround myself with the why. And for Razor Emporium, the whole beginning story, the beginning, entry story of Razor Emporium in the marketplace was why, and it was why vintage. Getting started in the wet shaving journey, almost 20 years ago, which is crazy to even say. I was looking for a better way to shave. I couldn't afford to go online and buy a Merkur or Edwin Jagger, so I went to an antique store and I picked up some vintage razors. The rest is kind of history. I got bit by the bug, and the vintage razors provided me a whole lot. First off, it helped my shaving problem I was having, but then I got so caught up in the marketing and the nostalgia and the beauty of these really cool pieces, and I started a company around it. Really collecting them at first and then selling off duplicates and blades and soaps and brushes along with them. But it all started with vintage. And I think there's something really, really important to say here. Today, in the day and age, there's so many different razor companies out there putting out new razors all the time, CNC and brass and stainless steel and titanium, and we still have the classics on the market like Edwin Jagger and Merkur. There's something that, if you haven't already done so, you gotta try some vintage razors. They are different than what else is on the market. There's nothing like this on the market at all. At all. I say that bar none. I say that with some authority behind it of not only a wet shaver, a razor collector, a retailer, and a manufacturer with Rex. This is very unique. This is very special. Nobody today is taking brass sheet metal and stamping it to make razors of this quality anymore. There's cast razors out there all over the place, but no one's doing it quite like Gillette did. And then you get involved with looking at all the different models. You have razors from the 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. There's 70 years of double-edged razors. And you're going to have all different kinds of designs and all different kinds of exposures of blade gap and combs and solid guard designs, adjustability, non-adjustability, butterfly, three-piece. No one is doing this. No one's doing all of this under one roof like Gillette did. I know when we think of vintage, it may be a little concerning. If you're new to the wet shaving world and you don't know, the first thing you think of is, man, is this hygienic? Can I use this? Is it clean? Is it sanitary? And that's one thing you have to think about for sure. When you buy off of eBay or Etsy or one of the shave chat rooms, you're not really sure what you're getting. You may have to go down some processes of sanitizing and cleaning to make sure it's safe to use. But that's one benefit of buying from Razor Emporium, is that it is been cleaned and tuned and sanitized, and it's ready to go. We've even do a lot of refinishing. That's actually how most of the work we've done and got started, was refinishing these old beautiful razors. But we talked about the materials of stamped brass. That's very unique. You can resurface it. I can't take a Merkur razor and redo it. I'm sorry, just the zinc alloy that it's made out of, it just doesn't take well to refinishing like old brass does. More than that, this is a piece of history. You're owning a connection to the past, especially if you have grandpa's razor, uncle's razor, father's razor, and you're actually able to use it again. You're connecting with something that's bigger than you. You're connecting with the past. You're using a piece of quality American-made hardware here and re-employing it and reusing it in a way that was always meant to be used. It was meant to not be a collector's piece necessarily. It was meant to be something that would be opened up, a blade loaded in, and delivering a fantastic quality shave. Today we're so concerned with aggressive and mild. Gillette, for most of their entire history, was trying to go for the Goldilocks, the right in the middle, a good, clean, efficient shave for anyone out there. They had some variabilities with adjustments and different exposures with these different, red tips, blue tips and stuff. But really they were going after the bulk majority of the market. Another cool aspect of using a vintage razor is the sustainability. The fact of people like to think of recycle, but they forget the reduce, reuse part, right? Reusing a quality piece of hardware like this is very sustainable thinking. you're repurposing something. It's not another piece of plastic or trash going in the recycle bin or the garbage bin. It's something that can be reused and I mean, honestly, passed down. That's another cool thing. You could take something like this. This is, a razor from the 50s that's been redone, of course, in our shop. This will last another 50 years or even 100 years if you take care of it. And you can give it to your, next generation, your son, your nephew, whoever. You can pass this down and can keep on using it. The quality is unbelievable. The machining that they were doing based off of just the sheer numbers alone of having to produce hundreds of thousands or even millions of these was a level of machinery that we don't see again in today's day and age. No one's doing progressive stamping like this. Quality of these razors is bar none. Well, that's all I got. I have a soft spot in my heart as a collector of the vintage razors, and that's really my origin story too of getting into this was through the vehicle of vintage. If you haven't done so, I'm not trying to push buying one from us. There are benefits, of course. It's been refinished, it's ready to go, sanitized, clean, adjusted, factory specs. These things are easy to bend if they've been dropped. It could be out of whack, and you may have a bad experience with a vintage razor, whereas if it was actually done properly and put back to specs, it may yield a different result. But if you haven't done so, treat yourself, get yourself a vintage razor. You can start anywhere. Just grab a Gillette. Give it a shave, add it to your shave den. If you only have modern razors, you're doing yourself a disservice by not at least trying a vintage razor. And if you don't end up liking it, gosh, it makes a great addition to your shave den. It looks fantastic. It's a nice piece of nostalgia and history in your shave den to kind of remember where it all started. So that's all I got. Just wanted to do this little why vintage video today for you guys. It's been on my mind lately. It's been on my thoughts of just how cool this razor stuff really is and how cool this movement is. That's all I got. Matt Pisarcik from Razor Emporium signing out. If you have used a vintage razor or love vintage razors, tell me below in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time at Razor Emporium for all things vintage shaving.